My name is Alara. I am 70 years old. Life made me a widow, and a single mother, when the sea claimed my husband, leaving me with our son, Finn, who was then just a boy. The day the waves took my husband, the world turned gray. I had to become both the anchor and the sail for my son. He was my entire world, the only family I had left. The fear was a cold, constant companion. How could I possibly raise a boy into a man all by myself? But in the quiet darkness of our small cottage, watching Finn's chest rise and fall in sleep, I found a strength I never knew I possessed. I made a silent vow to him, a promise to be his shield against the storms of life, to ensure he never felt the sting of being alone. My days were a blur of hard work. I mended nets for the other fishermen, cleaned their catch for a small share, and scrubbed floors in the local tavern. My hands became rough, my back ached, and many nights I'd fallen to bed with a hollow ache in my stomach, but I always made sure Finn was fed. His laughter was the only currency that mattered, and it made every hardship feel insignificant. I remember when he was a toddler, his clumsy first steps often ending in a tumble. He'd look up at me, his little face crumpled in a cry, and I would scoop him up, whispering, "It's all right, my love. Mom is here." When fevers came in the night, I would sit by his cot, a cool cloth on his brow, my prayers mingling with the sound of the crashing waves outside. Slowly, the years painted my hair with the color of sea foam and etched lines of worry onto my face. My body grew frail, but my love for him remained as fierce and boundless as the ocean itself. Finn grew into a strong young man, his hands as calloused as his father's had been, his livelihood wrestled from the same unforgiving sea. Every evening, I would watch the horizon, waiting for the familiar silhouette of his boat. The smell of the salty air on his clothes, the weariness in his eyes, these were the signs that he was home, safe. That was all the wealth I ever desired. One evening, he came to me, his gaze hesitant. "Mother," he said, "I have asked Lena to be my wife." A smile found its way to my lips. "If she brings you joy, my son, then my heart is full." A quiet dread settled in my soul, but I hid it well. I knew our little world of two was about to change forever. When Lena moved into our cottage, I welcomed her with an open heart. She was vibrant and beautiful, a wildflower in our weathered coastal town. "This is your home now," I told her, trying to show her the simple rhythms of our life. But a chill soon settled between us. Her replies to me were clipped, her eyes evasive. When I tried to show her how Finn liked his fish stew, she would snap, "I can manage." Her sharp words became a wall, and so, I retreated into silence, telling myself that youth is a restless tide that needs time to settle. One storm-swept evening, Finn returned late, his gear heavy with a poor catch, his shoulders slumped with exhaustion. He sank into a chair. "Lena," he called out, "some water, please. I'm parched." Silence. "Lena, I'm starving." "Is there any supper?" he asked again, his voice strained. I was in my small room, the thin wooden walls offering no privacy. I heard Finn get to his feet, his patience worn thin. "Why won't you answer me?" Then came Lena's voice, laced with tears. "It's your mother," she sobbed. "She despises me. She criticizes everything I do, calls me useless, says you should have married a fisherman's daughter." My hands trembled. The accusations were cruel, untrue, but I remained frozen in my room. Please, Finn's voice was soft, pleading. She is old. Be patient with her. There is no supper. Lena retorted, her voice hard as stone. I couldn't cook with her hovering over me, judging my every move. You have to choose, Finn. It's her or me in this house. You can't have both. That night, my son went to bed with an empty stomach and a heavy heart. I lay on my cot, the sound of the ocean a mournful lullaby, and I prayed for my son's heart to find the right path. The next morning, the confrontation was swift. Have you decided? Lena demanded. Your mother or me? Then she uttered the words that would haunt me forever. Take her out on your boat. The sea is treacherous. An accident, she's old, Finn. Her time is almost over. We could have a real life, away from here. Finn was a ghost that day. He didn't eat, didn't speak, and his eyes, for the first time, held a shadow I didn't recognize. I felt a terror that was colder than the deepest sea. That evening, he came to my room. Mother, he said, his voice flat. Tomorrow, we will take the boat out. Just us. I looked into his haunted eyes and understood. My world fractured, but my face remained a mask of calm. Of course, my son, I nodded. The next morning, he helped me into the small boat. The sea was choppy, the sky a grim shade of gray. As he rowed us away from the shore, his strokes were heavy, labored. I looked back at our small cottage, a lifetime of memories housed within its walls. I thought of the small boy I had raised, the man he had become, and the poison that had seeped into his heart. If this was to be my final journey, I had no regrets. As we neared a jagged outcrop of rocks far from the shore, I spoke, my voice steady. My son, the tide is turning faster than it appears. If you row back alone against this current, your left or might splinter. It has a weakness here. I pointed to a small, almost invisible fracture in the wood. You must favor your right side to make it back safely. He stopped rowing. The boat drifted on the restless water. He turned to look at me, his face a mask of disbelief as tears welled in his eyes. You knew, he whispered, his voice cracking. And you are still trying to protect me. I offered him a sad, gentle smile. A mother's love is the one tide that never turns. He let the oars fall into the boat, covered his face with his hands, and wept, deep, shuddering sobs of a broken man. I was going to leave you here, he choked out. And your only thought was for my safety. I reached out and laid my wrinkled hand on his. My child, I said softly, that is what it means to be a mother. After a long time, he picked up the oars. But this time, he turned the boat around and rowed us back toward the shore, back toward home. When we arrived, Lena was waiting. He sent her away. I did not say a word against her. I simply watched her go, my heart whispering a silent prayer of thanks. Now, Finn and I live a quiet life. I still wait for his boat on the horizon. He still comes home to a warm meal. The silence in our cottage is no longer one of tension, but of peace. A mother's love asks for nothing in return, and it is a love that even the sea cannot wash away. Never forget the one who gave you everything.